بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. This is our fourth episode of our program Secrets of Fasting, and this is Dr. Tariq Rashid. In the last episodes we discussed the concept of fasting, and we discussed why God asked Muslims for fasting, and also we stopped with the conditions for fasting. Today we are going to discuss what are the conditions that abolish fasting and prevent Muslims from continuing fasting. And once this happens, there are usually three tracks. Either we have to repeat what we lost in Ramadan, and this is called al-qada, or you have to go for what we call fidya, which you pay for something that you cannot fast due to illness or sickness, and we will see this case, which is called al-fidya. And or sometimes we have to go for some sort of punishment because we actually neglect fasting or make something that actually against God will. In such a case, it's called al-kaffara. So what abolish fasting is some sort of issues that Muslims may practice or may subjected to practice during Ramadan. So let's start. What are the things that would abolish fasting and you stop fasting? The first is anything intentionally reaching your mouth, throat, stomach, or the brain. And this could be either by eating or drinking, sometimes by certain types of injection or spray that goes through the nose or through the mouth. But to be clear here, not all types of injections or spray are causing you to stop fasting. So, but if it reaches your mouth or it affects the brain, then this condition requires abolishing, and in such a case you have to go through either kaffara or fidya or qada, which means either you have to repeat or you have to pay, or you go through the punishment that God clarify in Al-Quran. So this is the first condition of abolish the fasting. The second condition is vomiting intentionally. So if you try to get something out of your mouth intentionally, this will cause abolishing the fasting, and in such a case we have to repeat, and this is al-qada in fasting. So don't try, unless of course sometimes some people may have some sort of problems or sickness. In such a case they may go for vomiting, but in such a case this is abolish the fasting of the Muslims. But if something unintentionally get out of your mouth or your stomach, you can continue fasting, as our Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam said, "Man akala aw shariba nasiyan falyutimmu sawmah," which means if someone eat by or drink by mistake, he or she can continue fasting, and this will not affect abolishing the fasting process. The third condition is approaching women or between wives and husbands, which is al-jima'. When wives and husbands go through the marriage and approaching each other, this by default will actually abolish fasting, and in such a case we have to continue fasting, but we have to go what we call the al-kaffara. And al-kaffara is some sort of punishment from God, so to protect Muslims from going further in doing things that are prohibited. So what is al-kaffara in the case of women and men approach each other during the day of Ramadan? The first is to free a Muslim, and this is emancipation, is to free someone. And in modern days actually it's very difficult to find someone to free. So in such a case we go for the second condition, which is if you cannot, you have to go for 2 successive months of fasting, and you cannot actually pass any day you have to go for 2 months of fasting, and this should be continuous fasting. If you cannot, and this is by sequence, so the first you have to free Muslims. If you cannot find, then you go for 2 months of successive and continuity of fasting. The third is you have to feed 60 poor people. So these are the cases that we have to go through if we go through the or the approaching wives and husbands. Number 4 is what we call onanism intentionally. This will abolish our fasting, and in such a case you have to continue fasting, but we have to repeat fasting in other days out of Ramadan, and this is again al-qada. Number 5, this is the case for women only. If she has the monthly period, so blood is getting out, in such a case the woman has to repeat fasting in other days of Ramadan. The other case, blood after giving birth to a new baby, in such a case also the woman has to stop fasting, and usually this case can go from 30 to 40 days. And the third, if giving birth even without blood, in such a case the woman has to stop fasting, and she will actually repeat fasting in other days out of Ramadan. The 6th case that abolish fasting is what we call madness or losing conscious. In such a case, if you lose conscious, in such a case we have to break fasting and we have to repeat fasting. And the case of madness, because the mad people actually are not aware of the importance and actually cannot go through things that they don't understand. And of course the case of alcoholic effect, and we know that alcohol is highly prohibited in Islam, but if someone is drunk, this is not considered as fasting, and this is abolish fasting if we are under the effect of alcohol. And finally, when getting out of Islam totally, then this is al-kufr and al-ridda. So these are the cases in which the Muslim abolish and stop fasting, and these are clarified actually in Al-Quran. So let's see in ayat al-Quran. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أحل لكم ليلة الصيام الرفث إلى نسائكم هن لباس لكم وأنتم لباس لهن علم الله أنكم كنتم تختانون أنفسكم فتاب عليكم وعفى عنكم فالآن باشروهن وابتغوا ما كتب الله لكم وكلوا واشربوا حتى يتبين لكم الخيط الأبيض من الخيط الأسود من الفجر ثم أتموا الصيام إلى الليل. This is the case in Al-Quran, which give us the conditions. If we approach our women or wives and husbands approach, then we have to stop fasting, and this will break our fasting. However, it's allowed for all of us as husbands and wives to approach after fasting. So this is allowed during the after al-Maghrib until the dawn of the next day. Now, if let's go for now, what are we discussing here is also the Islam try to protect human nature. So we know that human nature, when he is or when he or she is married, so approaching the other is actually natural for a human. And because Islam protects the human nature, so we are allowed actually during the iftar period to approach our wives or our husbands. The idea is Islam is to protect the human nature, and it's always called that ad-dinu yusr wa laysa usr, which means that Islam is very simple, go with the nature of the human to support the human being. So what are the conditions for approaching wives and husbands during Ramadan? The first condition, it should not be during the times of fasting. So this to be stopped from the dawn until sunset of Ramadan. However, for kisses or hugs without the desire of approaching is allowed, although it's preferable not to practice this. And after iftar, of course, we are totally allowed to go for approaching between wives and husbands. And also, we have to define here what is the main difference between the idea of al-kaffara, al-qada, and al-fidya. Again, al-fidya is actually when people cannot go for fasting due to some sort of problems, usually sickness or illness. And this is, let's say, a license from God that you are not allowed to fast in such a case. So usually if you are sick or you cannot fast, like old people, for example, they cannot go for fasting because this will hurt them. In such a case, we have to stop fasting and being for al-fidya. And al-fidya, you have to go through paying, or as we mentioned, you go for usually al-fidya in such a case. So we have to pay something that is not allowed to continue fasting. Again, the idea of Islam to protect the self. So if by fasting you are hurting yourself, you have to stop fasting. And usually in several sicknesses, like for example cancer, what we call continuous illness like diabetes type 1, in such a case you are not allowed to go for fasting, and in such a case you have to go for al-fidya. In Al-Quran, in Al-Baqarah, آية 184 أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وعلى الذين يطيقونه فدية طعام مسكين فمن تطوع خيرا فهو خير له وأن تصوموا خير لكم. And this is actually a license from God when we cannot go for fasting. So this is called al-fidya. However, but what is al-kaffara? Al-kaffara, when breaking the fast intentionally, and the Muslim know that he or she is breaking the fast due to things that people do, in such a case, some sort of a punishment from God, so as not to repeat such cases, we go for al-kaffara. And al-kaffara, we have to follow the rules. The rules, as we mentioned in the this episode, you start first by free. You have to pay and free some Muslim that are not free, and this case is very rare now. Or you go for 2 successive months of fasting, or finally we have to feed 60 poor people. Now, al-qada is a repetition of fasting when you break fasting. Al-qada is allowed when you become healthy now and the illness or the sickness have gone. In such a case, you have to repeat fasting. Sometimes when you are traveling for long distance, then you break the fast, but once you get back, you have in other days of Ramadan to make al-qada and to repeat fasting. Sometimes when you do things unintentionally, in such a case, you can go also for al-fidya or al-qada, and this is clear in Al-Quran. However, if you don't repeat fasting, and you have to repeat fasting before the coming Ramadan, the other next Ramadan, in such a case you go for both qada and kaffara. But so it's highly recommended if the condition that prevent you from fasting is now is not working. In such a case, you go and make fasting before next Ramadan coming. Now, let's go for what we call Sunan al-Siyam. As-Sunnah in Siyam, things that Muslims are recommended to do as our Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam was practicing and doing, and he is our example always to follow the actions and attitudes and recommendation of our Prophet. So what are the Sunan al-Sawm? The first is Islam and fasting is actually to purify you. So if one hurts you, either by hands or by mouth, or start shouting, in such a case, you have to be relaxed, to be patient, and you say, Allahumma inni sa'im. Allahumma inni sa'im, that I am fasting for the sake of God, so I will forgive you even if you hurt me. So this is a sunnah for Muslims not to be under stress, not to get angry once getting harm from any other people. Then the second sunnah is as-suhoor. And as-suhoor is the pre-dawn meal. It's highly recommended by our Prophet that we eat pre-dawn in order we can support our bodies physically and mentally. And usually we have to delay as-suhoor before dawn, and this is again a sunnah. Number 3, sunnah is to accelerate iftar. Once al-Maghrib is now announced, we have to start breaking the fast, and usually we can start with some dates or at least some water. Then you go for praying al-Maghrib. Then after that you come and continue al-iftar. And usually we have to go for a dua. This is again a sunnah. Once you start your eating, you say, Allahumma laka sumt wa alayka tawakkalt wa ala rizqika aftart. And this is, you thank God and you say that you are fasting for the sake of God, and now it's time to break the fast. Also, one of the recommended dua while you start breaking the fast, ذهب الظمأ وابتلت العروق وثبت الأجر إن شاء الله. So now thirsty has gone and hunger has gone, and now you are refreshed and you thank God for getting al-ajru and the benefit of fasting. Also, it's highly recommended in Ramadan to increase ad-dua and always be connected with God. Our Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam said, ثلاثة لا ترد دعوتهم الإمام العادل والصائم حتى يفطر ودعوة المظلوم. So one of the dua that will actually God accept is someone who is fasting. This is one of 3, and the other is when we have a judge that he judge with al-Islam, and if someone feel that he is under the pressure or madloom, also this is, in such a case, dua is valuable for those people. So these are some of the sunan in Al-Quran that is highly recommended to practice while fasting. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Dr. Tariq Rashid in our program Secrets of Fasting.